Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, family. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having an excellent day. I hope life is manageable, better yet, peaceful. We are easing up on the midway point here in Ramadan. By the time we come back next week, we'll be back in daylight savings time. I think that's the way we're going to do the last 2 weeks the hard way, but not really the hard way. The consensus among a lot of people is that this fast has been fairly manageable, not too crazy, and I tend to agree. My fast has been very, very peaceful. Had a great walk today. I haven't done that in a long time. Had a great walk today. Just got off about an hour and a half. Listened to a podcast and on finance, and just walked around, man. Enjoyed myself. So, man, we have a lot going on in the world today, as you can see with today's title, which is Iran War, Follow the Money, 1, 2, 3. Some of the things that you'll hear today, hopefully, will jar your memory. In these type of wars, in these type of escalations, it's not prudent to look at what's happening today, but actually you have to look at the expanse of a relationship. And in this relationship, you have to look at some of the developments that have been happening with the United States over the course of the last 15 years that have a lot to do with economics. I say, follow the money, 1, 2, 3. This is a money war. This is a bank finance war. If you don't understand what a bank finance war is, we'll be talking about that during the duration of the show. I think, and I would even emphasize that maybe you pull out a pen and paper for this one. Because I'm going to be going a little bit deep. Not just deep because it's the thing, but I believe that this whole thing requires context. It requires context. And I think we're going to have to look at some of the other wars that we have been involved in and understand what that context is, particularly in the Middle East. Now, this is a very unique war for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is this is the largest space, not just of Muslims, but Shiite Muslims. So down the line, there's an issue between Sunni and Shia Muslims. And so now there's a reticence to go out and say this is wrong as opposed to, and it's, I wanted to say, I don't want to say it's not about the religious difference. I want to say not really. Religious differences between Sunni and Shia, it has a lot to do with putting one against another and saying, and almost like two pigeons, pigeons you throw feed down on the ground and the pigeons kill each other trying to get the food. This is the same thing, except for the thing that's being thrown down on the ground, brothers and sisters. The thing that's being thrown down on the ground is integrity. And the people who are fighting over the integrity are not the people who are trying to uphold it. These are the people who are trying to take it away. You could look at a large list of people who are not on the side of the United States in this war. We have to call that out. You can look at a list of people who are on the side of the United States for this war. You got to call it out. This one's a relatively short list, and this is a relatively long list. A lot of people are puzzled in some regards as to why this even happened in the first place. We've had a long running dialogue, and I've made jokes about this whole idea of American exceptionalism, the return to empires and things like that. And I still hold in my heart that it's going to fail. America is not set up for empires. You know why? Because the rich don't like to share. The rich don't like to share. And in a digital economy, you must share. You must share. What I mean by that is, if you don't share how you got it, people will figure out. Folks are not loyal to wealth unless they're wealthy. Let me say that again. Folks are not loyal to wealth unless they're wealthy. If you're wealthy, then you despise poverty. And the way you despise it is to make sure people stay in poverty. It's just about distance. It's just about persona. It's just about the ability to keep people in poverty, which allows you to be wealthy. Okay, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to have quite a conversation today. I think we are. It's an interesting conversation. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for hanging in and joining us wherever you are. Again, I'm Preacher Miles, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Um, this show is called Iran Follow the Money 123. Before I get that, I want to give a shout out to my people. We got a lot of folks here. We give a shout out to Sister E. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister E. Thank you so much for joining the show. Peace and blessings to you and your family. My man, Bilal Salahuddin. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and your queen, Sister Sonia Dalton. Salahuddin, Ramadan Mubarak. My man, Ataf. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All the way from Canada. Excuse me. He is our Canadian envoy to the show. We call him Mr. 6 o'clock straight up, straight out, one of our day ones. My brother, JTY, alaikum assalam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I can need to talk to you after the show if you have some time. Give me a call. Thank you so much for joining the show. And continue, my brother JT. I hope your fast is going well. And make the wire for JT. He's opening a new business, renters insurance. He's going through that process. We wish him the best. For our family out in Instagram land. Imam Deeb, I'm going to see you in Atlanta, brother. I'm bringing a show out there. I'm going to see you in Atlanta, inshallah. Yasser Realtor. Wa alaikum assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kismet Connections, who is going to be working with me in Atlanta and Raleigh and Washington, D.C. as we bring Preacher Monster's mini tour. Joy is still allowed, comedy for tough times. So, let me get back on the topic here, and I will be sending you guys some ads and information about the tour. We're going to be going. Raleigh is going to be April the 24th. Atlanta, 2 shows. It's going to be at April the 25th. Washington, D.C., that's going to be on a Sunday. And Washington, D.C., Herndon area, actually in the Dulles area, it's going to be April the 26th. You don't want to miss it. Tickets are limited. Okay. Mustafa Evans, what's going on, brother? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me tell y'all something about the game. And this is what makes wars so deadly. This is what makes wars so deadly. In the street, there's a concept when there's a fight. Like if you hit me and walk away, street rules say I owe you a lick. So I gotta get my lick back. If you hit me and walk away, if I hit you and walk away, you gotta get your lick back. So this whole thing of this weird balance. Now the problem with getting a lick back is we don't know the severity of the lick. I might have pushed you like that, you might have punched me like that. It doesn't matter. In the rule of war, you got my lick back. You might have pushed me with 2 hands, I might have pushed you, kicked you, elbowed you, and stomped on you, but that equates a lick. There's no, if you say, barometer about getting a lick back, and that's why we have the advent in the Quran and the Bible about restraint, about the idea of forgiving people, because once you go down a certain lane, you can't come back. In war, it's the same thing. Once you go down a certain lane, you can't fix the damage that you do. You can't fix the damage that you do. Inherently, nobody would trust you. If you hurt me, inherently, I can't trust you to fix that hurt. It's the same thing in relationships. If you hurt me in a relationship, you may think I'm healed, but it's healed to your understanding and to your level of comfort. Sometimes you go, get over it. People don't get over it. The African American, Native American in the United States, we've never been able to get over that deep, extreme, penetrating hurt that comes from just being here. From just being here. African American Africans were brought here. We didn't ask to come here. Native Americans were here. They were pushed off the land. We didn't ask. They didn't ask Europeans to come here. This central idea of 1, I have a right to hurt you. 2, you don't have a right to hurt me. 3, if you do hurt me, it requires even more. Here we go. It requires even more of an angry effort. We see it all the time in Gaza. We see it in Gaza all the time. If somebody throws a rock towards Israel, somebody throws a boulder towards Gaza. Am I being facetious? No. It is the absence of mercy. Let me say it again. It is the absence of mercy. And in that space, when I say the absence of mercy, what I'm saying is, uh, in no uncertain terms, what I'm saying is not there. When you run into people who have this thing, this is a psychological condition, and you can permeate it around. People talk about the Holocaust. People talk about the Holocaust. What that requires is a communal numbing to empathy, to what you see out of your eye. It can't affect you. That pain and suffering that I cause another person somehow is detached from me. That in that space, I create excuses. This war is the same. I introduced to you Exhibit A. This book is called Confessions of Economic Hitman. It's written by John Perkins. Now, he has a blog, and he said it doesn't even say incendiary things. What he's saying is this is what's going on in the world. These are the things that are going on in the world. And his part as an economic hitman was that he would go around the country. In this case, he was in Ecuador. And what his job was as an economic hitman was to economically disrupt these democracies that were not favorable to the United States. Very simple. They were not, and people go, oh, that's terrible. It happened here in the United States. That's what they call COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO went and disrupted Black communities, Black organizations that were not sympathetic or obedient to U.S. white supremacist structures. That's the way it goes. You guys need to get your pens out because I'm going to drop some science on you. And I would suggest, maybe we get away from the social media. Maybe we look at history. This is not, last year when Iran was attacked by Israel and the United States. That was not the beginning of that conflict. Representatives from Israel have been baiting the United States to fight this war for them. To fight this war for them. And I can't say it's everybody in Israel, but there's a sentiment that somehow, someplace, the United States owes it to Israel to go and fight their battles. This is a dangerous thing. This is a dangerous process. And now it's becoming more and more apparent here in the United States that mindset is what we should be doing towards other people. It doesn't work in the United States. Two reasons. Number one, people of color, people who have a religious narrative, people who have a real meaningful spiritual core, we can't look the other way. We can't look the other way. And there's a history of resistance here in the United States. I know we talk about ICE and things like that, but ICE can't win. If ICE could really win, it wouldn't need the government backing and the laws giving it the permissibility to do what it does. And the numbers are not there. When people start organizing against ICE, it's a problem. Everybody knows it. The government knows it. The president knows it. All these politicians know it, that ICE has a limited span. And it's about the money, just like it is about Iran. Now, this book, Confessions of Economic Hitman, my man John Perkins, he was an EHM, that's what they call him, EHM, in Central America, Ecuador, those things like that. And he puts out things. I mean, every time governments, particularly the United States government, goes to quote unquote help somebody, they wind up screwing them. Oh, sorry about that. I thought this thing was off. I thought my phone was off. I got a new phone, everybody. I don't know how to work it. Thanks, JT. I'm just kidding. I got to call her. That's my mom. Shout out to mom. But let me throw this out because we only have a certain amount of time, and we're like halfway through. Two terms I want you to look up when it comes to Iran. The first term, listen very carefully. It's called programmable currency. Programmable currency. If that word somehow sits in your chest or your stomach in an ill way, it is ill. Programmable currency is money that has rules. In the United States and certain other friends have been trying to move the world towards programmable money to make sure that the dollar, DOLLAR, will be protected, despite the fact that the dollar is weak, despite the fact that the dollar is inflated. We get a dollar, here's a dollar. People have to purchase things in the dollar to make sure that not the government, but the businesses get rich. The economic hitman, they talk about how they destabilize governments. They come in, they loan out money that they know the people cannot pay back. And when they can't pay back, they go, well, let's figure out how I get my lick back. So I gave you $100,000, but I want all this countryside. It's worth more than $100,000, but it doesn't matter. I want my lick back. I gave you trucks and ammunition. I gave you things for a war. You couldn't pay for it. Well, I want my lick back. So what I'll do is I'll take all of your utilities and we'll get rid of your unions. The lick, brothers and sisters, is not equal to the loan. But with this thing of programmable currency, what you're talking about is money that goes around that, brothers and sisters, it has conditions on it. We never think about conditions on our money, but with programmable currency, the Bitcoin, and things like that, what it is it sets up rules for your money. But we go, who is the person who oversees the rules? Who is the person that says, hey, that programmable currency? It could be that I have $1,000 in the bank. But with programmable currency, the rules are I can't use that money outside of a mile from my house, which means that I'm stuck, which means that I don't own my money. I have money, but I don't own it, which means that in a pinch, everybody who's under the auspices of programmable currency find themselves at the will of the bank. Not the United States, not the protection of the Constitution, but at the will of the bank. If you look at the Bill of Rights, if you look at the Constitution, there's no protection for currency. It has been written along, written in water, and it changes all the time. Programmable currency. Well, a lot of the world is coming under the space of programmable currency. Do you know who is not coming under the world of programmable currency, brothers and sisters? Iran. Iran is not coming under the world of programmable currency. Are they renegades? No. They're part of a group. BRICS. BIRCS. BRICS. 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 These people, these countries in BRICS are not participating in programmable currency. They are participating in efforts that not necessarily replace the dollar, but the threat is there. They're not trying to replace the dollar, but they're saying we don't want to be so dependent on the dollar because the dollar allows the United States to have dominance in foreign markets. Let's face it. Well, I was talking about the elections are rigged. Currency is rigged, my brothers and sisters. Currency is rigged. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They have been working on anything and everything you can do to not be reliant, enslaved to the U.S. petrodollar, oil. What does Iran have? Massive reserves of oil. What else? What do they also have? Massive reserves of natural gas. And guess what happened last year? BRICS expanded. So it's no longer just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It now has Egypt, it has the UAE, I think Saudi joined, And guess who else joined? Woo! Iran. Iran is in BRICS. And it has to scare everybody. Because of everybody I just mentioned to you, everyone I just mentioned to you, none of them have the following things: massive oil reserves, natural gas. They don't. The United States has been trying to get their lick back on Iran for years. Years. When I was in the eighth grade, brothers and sisters. We were dealing with the U.S. hostage crisis in Tehran. That the people of Iran kicked out a leader, the Shah of Iran. The Shah of Iran. They kicked him out, exiled him, and they brought in Ayatollah Khomeini. Now, you can be saying whatever you want to. I don't know Ayatollah Khomeini, you know, but the equivalent of the Shah getting kicked out of Iran, the Shah who was controlled by the United States, was simply the will of the people going, we're going to get our lick back. And the United States does not like when people get their lick back. And it would even seem to me, in this case, the lick was even bigger. It's even bigger. If you think about Iraq, Iraq was invaded twice. Why? Even the lick that they got wasn't good enough. Iraq today is destroyed, decimated. If you look at the history, look at Libya. Libya when Gaddafi was there. When Gaddafi was there, Libya was a very progressive spot. Where did Libya get in trouble? In my estimation, and a lot of estimation of the historians, Libya got in trouble when they did what? They tried to organize all the African nations, and they considered themselves an African nation because they wanted to move to a gold standard. They wanted to move away from the petrodollar. Let me explain something to you. Many of us don't understand what the petrodollar is. We go to the gas station, we pay what it is at the gas station. At the current moment, the price of gas is shot almost 10 cents. This is insane. The price of gas is shot almost 10 cents since this war started. Why? There's disruption in how people get their oil. And when it's disruption in how people get their oil, it's disruption in production, right? It's disruption in production. It's disruption in how the oil is refined, brothers and sisters. We have a massive crisis here. That the economic impact of this oil might outweigh the actual lies that are being told. It's not about nuclear weapons. Don't believe that. It's not against there was no aggression towards the United States or Israel. Don't believe that. This whole stand your ground thing at an international level. Oh, I feel threatened. I'm going after somebody. It's garbage. You know, that started here. That's Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. Once that pill was swallowed, everybody felt like I could swallow that pill. Once that pill was swallowed, everybody felt like, what? I could get my lick back. Now the game, brothers and sisters, as we run up, and I know I'm running out of time, I probably should just go longer, is that this organization of BRICS has been denounced by your president to the point where he said, anybody that's joined BRICS, anybody that's a part of BRICS, I'm going to put a tariff on them. Ooh, tariff. Now you know where all these tariffs come from, right? The purpose behind the tariffs. This is a president who has taken upon himself on the behalf of big business, to restrict economic independence for other countries. Venezuela, because we don't talk about Venezuela anymore. Venezuela was, we're going to come take their oil. Now, here's the thing that you should remember, and I said this. They took the oil from Venezuela, but what oil did they take? They took the oil that was refined, because the oil that's actually in Venezuela. The crude is useless. You will bankrupt this country trying to refine the oil inside of Venezuela. Why? There's no infrastructure. There's no way to that's why big businesses left Venezuela, because they knew the investment was too much. And so now you move to Iran. Now, on top of attacking Iran during Ramadan, on Jummah, they're playing a very, very serious card. So let me talk to everybody, Muslims and non-Muslims. This is how dirty this game is. They've built upon a provision that there's a conflict between Sunni and Shia. Sunni and Shia had a 10-year war at one point. I'm like, 10 years y'all fighting? Damn. That there is a theological disconnect between this two group of Muslims. Now, as an African American, I'm like, we either gonna be Muslim, we not. I don't know what's going on, but you know, when I have my barbecue, everybody's invited. The point, a very serious point, is that they have aligned this thing on a theological disconnect within the Muslim community. Thus, Muslim countries in the Middle East have sat quietly. Not just for this war, they sat quietly for when they were invaded last year. They sat quietly when Iran overthrew the Shah of Iran. They sat quietly in Iraq. Because the game, brothers and sisters, is the money. Nobody wants to be left out of the money. You don't have to be an economic hitman to understand what I'm saying. That portions of our government are used as what? Destabilize other governments. I've never in my life, and I went to military school for 6 years, I've never in my life seen somebody take a country to war and in the midst of the war tell the people, this is your time to overthrow the government. You know why? Because they can't get boots on the ground. You run up against a country that has a particular ideological identity that says, you know what? We'll get our lick back. Might be your last lick, we won't take it. And when you run into people like that, you become scared, sloppy, distrustful. You move away from the core values of what the country was in the first place. Essentially, we couldn't get an economic hitman into Iran. If you look at just the sloppiness of the U.S. government and this particular president, if you will, sending boats to protect protesters. You couldn't send police to protest people who were protesting. You couldn't send police to protect protesters of folks who had a ideological integrity, simply protesting that Gaza was wrong. Or Black Lives Matter. But now we're going to go all the way across. This is the game. This is the game. I'm shout out to my man Eric. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, beloved. Ramadan Mubarak. Let me give a shout out to my Instagram family. Let's see. Talhadar, what's going on? Khalid, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Il Nomadic, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My main man, Prince Abdi, very funny brother from the UK. Shout out Prince Abdi, man. I hope you're doing well. Peace and blessings to you and your family. So we're going to get ready to bounce here. My time is up. But if you get a chance, I think it's a free PDF download. Just read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and you're going to understand Iran War 1, 2, 3. Y'all take care. I'll talk to you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.